So I know there's a lot of people that are probably gonna get mad at this video. Yeah, I know. A lot of the people in the community like Rin. I like Rin. But that doesn't exclude her from getting this criticism. Now, as you guys know, in Fate Zero, Rin's father, Tokiomi, made a pact with Zoken that led to Sakura being sent to the Mato household. And an ongoing question for a long time has been whether or not Rin was wrong for leaving Sakura behind. So it's Fate Stay Night, and by this point in time, Sakura was already getting forcibly penetrated against her will. She had these worms obstructing her entire nervous system, and she had absolutely nowhere to go. So you would think that despite this pact that Tokiomi made, and they did say that the families are not allowed to interact on that level, that Rin would still make some type of attempt to go get her sister. But we never see this happen. So you have to wonder, what is her excuse? Because you can't just say, oh, well, Rin was going through this and she was going through that. Because they got the same parents, which means that whatever Rin was going through, Sakura was going through the same exact thing. The only luxury that Sakura had that Rin didn't was that Sakura didn't have to witness it. She didn't have to see her father being killed. She didn't have to see her mother being handicapped and then going on to pass away later. It's the only luxury she had. And we know about Rin's nature. We seen her through the story. We seen her in the bad ends. She is not opposed to helping somebody. Just think about Bad End 2, where she literally sacrificed her own life for Shiro to survive, which can only mean one of two things. Either Shiro is more important than Sakura, or there's a bigger being that she would have to tackle that she really feels like she doesn't need to deal with. This would be the politics of the Mages Association. A lot of people forget that Zoken was 3rd rank at the clock tower. That's one of the highest ranks that you could have. Not to mention all of the things that he had done in the past to help bring the Grail War together. So for all the people that might look down on Zoken, you can guarantee that there's just as many people that have a lot of respect for him. You cross him, you might end up in a shoebox somewhere. Recently, I just got done rewatching The Dark Knight, and you had this scene where the Joker put 2 important people to Batman in fatal situations, but he could only save one. Of course, they tried to come up with a plan to save both. The person that the cops tried to save died, and the person that he saved turned into a villain because of what happened. So ultimately, what did you gain? I feel like Rin is in the exact same situation. It would be a Pyrrhic victory. Sure, you might win on paper, but the win is so devastating on your behalf that you might as well say that you lost. Even if she goes out to go get Sakura, it's not gonna undo the trauma. It doesn't mean that she's exempt from the association reprimanding her for doing so, and that's what I'm saying. High cost, low reward. Because they're definitely gonna come get her. So whatever beautiful outcome they thought they had planned out, where she saves her and they run off into the sunset, now it's over with for the both of y'all. That's the reality. Just think about Heaven's Feel, when Rin used the second magic, which is supposed to be forbidden. She had to go to court for that. And the only reason she was able to get off is because Zelrech bailed her out for accomplishing something in between. Going back on Zoken's pact wouldn't be accomplishing anything, so he might not be so generous this time around. And it really goes without saying, but we know that Ren's job is to be a magus and oversee the lands. Yeah, I hear that, but come on, man. You telling me that you were so busy for 365 days for several years that you couldn't go see about your sister one time? And I'm supposed to feel bad for you because you feel guilty about it? You literally stay right there. You're right up the street. Y'all go to the same school. I'm not mad that she didn't save her. I'm mad that she didn't even try. And the only time that she did try is in Heaven's Field when Sakura became a direct problem for her. When Sakura threatened her and the world's livelihood, that's when she decided to confront the situation and not a day sooner. So, is she wrong? Yeah, I would say so, but at the same time, it's a lot more complicated than it may seem. She said, bump that, I ain't finna mess my life up. Left her ass for 10 years. Cause one thing about Kirisugu is that even though he knew that he couldn't get Ilya back, at least he still tried. And I'm not holding her accountable for the whole 10 years because she's still a child, she's still growing up. We understand that. But there comes a time where it would eventually dawn on somebody that, hey, maybe you should go do something about this. Matter of fact, the novel pretty much addresses this when she sees Zokin's basement for the first time. I don't even have to be the one to say that she's in the wrong because she herself admits to being wrong in the story. She had no idea about the practices that were going on with Sakura. And she even said, if I was gonna wait all this time just to break the pact anyway, I should have just came over here years ago. And one conversation that always got me was when Rin is talking to Sakura at the end of Heaven's Field, and she's like, you don't know who Zelrech is? Keep in mind that this is after she found out about the basement. Why would you even say that when you know the circumstances? Man, those lessons from Kirei are really paying off because it's like that line shows such a lack of empathy on so many levels. If I was Sakura, I would have been like, you do realize I've been in a dungeon for 10 years, right? You think I give a fuck about a Zelrech? I'm just happy to be alive. Can we talk about that? Let's talk about that. This is why the movies went to such great lengths to humanize Rin as a character. Because in the novel, it didn't work like that. You know, the movie had scenes like when Rin and Sakura were playing cards and Rin had the better hand, which was basically saying Rin always has the better hand than Sakura no matter what. And if you look at her face, she always has to feel guilty about it. She can't help but feel guilty about it. But in the novel, it wasn't like that. Even though it was just a facade, she was talking greasy all the way to the end. Whatever the case may be, I am glad that they were able to reconcile things at the end. I feel like Rin owes that girl at least that much, if nothing else. But like I said, it's complicated.